Every investor's portfolio should have two components. One that contributes to the growth of the portfolio, while the second that provides it stability. While growth of the portfolio is contributed by investing in equity funds, stability is traditionally provided by investing in fixed income instruments like fixed deposits. Debt mutual funds can be an alternative to the fixed deposit needs of investors. Debt mutual funds can provide liquidity and stability to your portfolio. A financial advisor can help you invest in debt mutual funds and bring relative stability to your portfolio. Visit idfcmf.com to know more about debt funds. Happy investing. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Are you confused about how to invest in debt mutual funds? Wondering how to make sense of all the debt funds available in the market? With so many categories and funds to choose from, it can be difficult to identify the right debt mutual fund for you. To make things clearer, we have developed the Debt Framework, an easy and intuitive way to classify debt products into three categories based on an investor's need and risk appetite. The first category is liquidity. These funds are ideal for investors who need money for any emergency or want to park their savings for a temporary period. This should form a small part of your debt portfolio. The second category is core. These funds limit the duration risk, that is, they maintain a short to moderate maturity profile. They also limit the credit risk. They are ideal for investors looking for a suitable substitute for fixed deposits. Core is the most important component of your portfolio and should have a large allocation. Lastly, we have the satellite category of debt funds. Ideal for investors who have a high risk appetite and are looking for high returns. The funds typically take higher interest rate risk and/or credit risk. So how should one allocate between these three buckets? As a first step, investors are advised to keep aside money for their emergency needs in the liquidity category funds. They may then look to build their core category portion with the highest allocation. Investors with higher risk appetite may allocate some portion to the satellite bucket. But remember, treat core and satellite funds separately, as interchanging them can be detrimental to your portfolio. The debt framework can act as a useful way to allocate savings and achieve your financial milestones. As they always say, a goal without a plan is a wish. Happy investing!
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
कौन से लोग के प्राणी हो भाई?
पानी।
इन पैसे का क्या करेगा? इन्हें किसी अच्छी जगह डिपॉजिट कर दे।
ये भी 30 साल जंगल में खो गए थे क्या?
क्या आपका पैसा अभी भी पुराने इन्वेस्टमेंट में भटका हुआ है? उसे छोड़िए और म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
गोपाल, मुझे मालूम था एक दिन आप लौट कर जरूर आओगे। और ये रही आपकी 30 साल की सैलरी। इसे किसी अच्छी जगह डिपॉजिट कर दीजिएगा। हाँ?
ये भी 30 साल अंतरिक्ष में खो गए थे क्या?
क्या आपका पैसा अभी भी पुराने इन्वेस्टमेंट में लटका हुआ है? उसे छोड़िए और म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Far away that was a powerful drive.
Yeah, a bit different than yours.
Power to dominate, the new Fortuner. Style to lead, the new Legender.
Winning is more than a mindset. It's about finding the perfect racing line with your eyes closed. It's about feeling the apex before you clip it. Making split-second decisions based on instinct. It's about knowing you've beaten the lap record before you even cross the line. Winning is to overcome. Winning is second nature. The 2020 TVS Apache RR310 with ride modes and Smart Connect. Crafted to overcome, crafted to outperform.
Grand finale of BCIC Emerging Star Awards, a day we all have been waiting for a long time. Every day seems to be getting bigger and better. And today we have our Chief Guest, Justice B.N. Sri Krishna, who needs no introduction. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We would like to thank people from the press and media for their constant support. We would also acknowledge the support of sponsors and well-wishers, not to forget the team behind the event. Hoping to have a bigger and better second edition of BCIC Startup Awards. Let us kickstart the day from our very own Namma Karnataka, Namma Bangalore. Thank you so much and welcome once again.
Okay, fine. I'll take it over. My name is Ravindran. I'm the Vice President of the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce. I need to do a self-introduction of myself. I'm also the founder, managing director, and CEO of WealthMax Enterprises Management Private Limited, and I'm director in 6 companies. Past employed with Zurich, Switzerland, and GE Alstom, amongst many other companies. 3.5 decades of experience. Self-published and co-authored ACBC, After Corona, Before Corona, with foreword by Sri K. Jairaj, IAS. Our company has been a winner of the Rajiv Gandhi National Quality Award, along with Steel Authority of India Limited, Tata Motors Limited, Tata Ryerson Limited, etc. to name a few, and also winner of the CNBC TV's 18th Best Performing Financial Advisor a few years in a row. Ex-board member of the $1 Million Roundtable USA and Financial Planning Standards Board of India, where Sri B.N. Sri Krishna sir was the chairman. I write columns in economics and finance in leading newspapers, bulletins, journals, etc., and have been a lead speaker on various issues of importance, and I'm an alumnus of St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, and I am on the bar. Good evening, respected chief guest for the day, dear President of BCIC, Senior Vice President, all members of BCIC, Chairman of the jury panel, members from the press and media, and all nominees to the award, and my dear members. Welcome to Day 3 of the BCIC Emerging Stars Award. Let me begin by thanking God for having helped us survive and overcome a pandemic never before seen in history. Thanks to COVID, we got delayed, but nevertheless made it up. Many challenges came up. From physical to virtual interaction, we have been able to adapt and made ourselves ready to embrace every passing day. I would like to thank each one of you for your patience. We kept our promises to all the constituents in the society and for the awards, including sponsors, supporting partners, and people from within. Our office bearers kept hope and ensured that we stayed the course. Our chairman of the jury panel, Sri Jairaj sir, has been a pillar of strength. You would be pleased to know that the startup committee of the past has been rechristened with a new avatar and name as Young BCIC Committee under new leadership. I continue to guide them. This award, when instituted a year back, drew lots of enthusiasm and was soon to be accorded the status of a flagship event. A new website, BCIC-StartupAwards.com, got created, on which updates continue to get posted even today. We decided to position the awards rather differently, much away from the technology-centric initiatives, and also to move away from the glare of awarding the same known names in India and the world, but orient ourselves to new age thinking with technology as an enabler, be it in the field of manufacturing or services, and identify the next big names in 5 to 10 years from now. The thought proved to be right, and here we are, thanks to you. During the journey, we got the partnerships from NASSCOM, TAI, Agni, and several educational institutions and their alumni of the likes of IIM, IIT, IIIT, Amrita, Derby, Dayananda Sagar, etc. to name a few. I'm happy that the D-Day has arrived. BCIC has always been a process-driven organization. You would find that throughout the process of the award, we have been fair, consistent, transparent, and justful to the needs of the participants with no ulterior motives ever in mind. I am sure with the culmination of the awards ceremony today, we shall launch the next version soon, about which our President, Mr. T.R. Parshuraman, who is here, will make a mention later during the evening. Thank you for being present, President Sir. This award will continue to maintain the flagship status and will deliver it better year after year, and shall be a sustainable initiative from our chamber, thanks to the promises made by the new leadership team of Young BCIC. Today, we have with us our chief guest for the day, retired Justice B.N. Sri Krishna, whom we had invited almost a year back at Western Hotel when he was on a tour to Bangalore for a physical presence, but he is present virtually from Mumbai. I am thankful to him for helping us on this initiative and helping us stay the course. Next, I would like to thank the chairman of the jury panel, Sri K. Jairaj, IAS, retired. Sir, your steadfast and straightforward approach became an enabler cum facilitator in difficult times. Besides everything else, he also wrote the foreword for my book ACBC, which got released in Amazon June 2020 and now is in the book stands. He beautifully oversaw the jury round with a twin panel of 3 members each, who worked over 90 man-hours, including a woman, to complete the jury round and decipher the winners. While I request Sri Jairaj sir to take over immediately after my speech and introduce the jury panel members, it shall be followed by an overview of the awards by my co-chair of the previous year, Sri Chartered Accountant K. Ravi, who is also present here, which then shall be followed by the startup video that would encapsulate everything from the startup, how the awards were encapsulated and created, and this has been created by a very young, energetic young boy, very, very creative young boy. So next after that, we would have the jury panel getting introduced by Sri Jairaj sir. After that, Ravi will give you an overview, then the startup video, and the day's proceedings will follow with methodology and the methodology as laid down by the jury panel. This will be followed by the chief guest address, Sri Justice B.N. Sri Krishna. After that, we would have the felicitation of the speakers and sponsors for a few minutes. This will be followed by the President's speech for a very brief touchdown on what is likely to be the next set of future happenings, followed by startup membership benefits. That is an amendment to the bylaws that has been made in the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce recently, and how it can create manifold benefits for the purpose of our startup community who is present here, including the finalists, including the nominees, and this shall be followed by the award. There are various categories of awards, and you'll be happy to know that the fair and consistent approach that I spoke about, you'll find it in immeasurable terms in the form of every finalist entitled for an award, including a cash award. This will be followed by a vote of thanks, and then we'll be playing the closing screen, and then it will be followed by national anthem, and for every finalist to enjoy the evening thereafter. Over to you, Jera sir. Thank you for joining. Please take it over.
Good evening. Am I audible, Ravi?
Sure, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are. A little closer to the mic will help.
Okay. I would like to begin by offering my salutations to Honorable Justice Sri Krishna. Namaskara, sir. It's a great pleasure to see you virtually, sir, and to renew my association with you. My respects and regards to the President of BCIC, Parshuraman, to the Senior Vice President, all the senior members of BCIC, Ravindran, and all esteemed colleagues who have gathered here today. For me, this is a privilege to be associated with BCIC over these 3 days. And I'll tell you why briefly, because there's a big program ahead of us. First, to come into contact with a live wire like Ravindran. No exaggeration to say that Ravindran drove everything and I was just a passive spectator to this. Secondly, to associate with such a strong panel of men and women who are so rooted in this domain of startups like Chandu, Ravi, Lata, Anant, Giri, and Francis. I'll introduce them a little bit later. Thirdly, as you will see, to be exposed to a wide array of startups rooted in biology, robotics, technology, and AI. In fact, as Ravindran mentioned, this application draw took 200, and out of the 200 startups, 22 were shortlisted, 19 appeared before the 2 panels, which spent 90 man-hours and before identifying the shortlist. What did these panels do? First, they looked at the sustainability of the startups, then the durability, finally the value creation, and all this had to be circumscribed within financial viability, because we took the statements of finance pertaining to 1920 also, despite the COVID. So the panel has done a great job, and we owe a sincere debt of gratitude to them. What does all this show? And I will make just 1 or 2 more remarks before concluding. To me, this shows the future of India, how a $5 trillion economy is going to look like. What is the meaning of entrepreneurship among these people, and how together this is going to constitute a new India? This is on the one hand what we have witnessed. On the other hand, it also shows a new area that BCIC is getting into, because they have continued the whole process by the Emerging Stars program, in which the membership base of BCIC will be expanded. I think all of us also owe a deep debt of gratitude to the knowledge partner Deloitte for having put together this process in a scientific and organized manner. And so, before I introduce the panel, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to BCIC for giving me this opportunity, the President, the Senior Vice President, most important of all, to Ravindran for being what he is and for making this a reality. Now, I will be introducing the panel. I will begin with my esteemed friend, the past President of BCIC, Dr. Anant Koppar. Anant, are you there, Anant?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you say just 2 words about yourself? It's difficult, I know, to say 2 words, but in the interest of brevity, could you please just shortly introduce yourself, Anant, please?
I've been in the software industry from the beginning, one of the pioneers in the software industry from 84 onwards. I've built many companies. I've been a serial entrepreneur all through. And it is all because of the blessings of all the people around, and have been leading a very contented life. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you very much. Chandu Nair? Chandu? Just 2 words about yourself. Who is a startup visionary par excellence.
Somesh, you need to unmute all of these panel members. They are down below. You could call out the next name, sir.
Okay. Ravi Chalu?
He will also be unmuted. Dr. Lakshmi is available, as well as Francis.
Okay. Dr. Lakshmi Jagannathan from Dhabi. Lakshmi? I think there's an issue of muting or unmuting. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, she's there.
Go ahead, Lakshmi.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good evening, everybody. It's a great privilege to be a part of the jury panel of BCIC Emerging Stars Award. I am a CEO of an incubation program run out of Dayanand Sagar Institution called Derby Foundation. We've been supporting tech startups. It's been a great experience being a part of the jury. Wishing all the startups great success going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thank you, sir.
Chandu, are you unmuted now?
Yes. So I have been made visible and given a voice too.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jayaraj, Dr. Ravindran, and especially to my fellow panelists in the jury, Dr. Anant Kopar and Giridhar, who were part, and Francis, of course, who were part of. Giridhar and Francis were part of my panel. Just a brief word about myself. I've been a corporate executive, a media journalist, and then for the best part of my life, an entrepreneur. Started 12 enterprises, managed to exit from 2. Now I'm an advisor to entrepreneurs and an investor too. Plus, I also am on the board of advisors for a fund, as also of an incubator. So this experience here with quite diverse startups and with quite eminent fellow panelists was an exhilarating experience, and I wish BCIC all the very best, plus all the startups a more glorious future. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandu. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being associated with you. Ravi Chalu, please.
Late, sir. We'll show the slides after everybody's is over. We have Mr. Francis Rodrigues.
Francis? Mr. Francis Rodrigues of HDFC Life.
Yeah. Hello, sir. And thank you very much, Dr. Ravindran and Mr. Jayaraj, for inviting me to be a part of this esteemed panel. It was a wonderful experience and a humbling experience to kind of have all the esteemed panelists, and it was an interesting way of when we went across trying to decide for the winners. A little bit about me. I am currently basically working with HDFC Life. Prior to this, I have around 16 years of experience across different domains, FMCG, consumer durables, etc. Currently, my work requires me to work closely with the startup ecosystem and identify areas of opportunities, apart from leading teams which work on data analytics.
Thank you. Giridhar?
Rupa, can you just throw open the slides of Mr. Giridhar and Ravi Chandu, please?
Okay. I think, Ravi, will you introduce Giri briefly?
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Giridhar is the editor of 9.9, earlier in Gurgaon, Delhi, and now he's based here. He's a recognized speaker in international forums on technology and other issues, and he has with him about 3 decades of experience. Ravi Chalu, who's joining a little bit late, is an alumni of IIT Kanpur, and with about 4 decades of experience, having headed some of the largest .com companies in USA and outside, and also been part of Indian network in terms of new creation of this company called Bulletproof Your Story, and that takes care of incubation, training, and then creating model restructured enterprises for the startups. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I just want to end by reporting to the President BCIC that the jury has done an absolutely objective 360-degree evaluation of all the finalists. And as I said, Mr. President, they have seen sustainability, durability, value creation, and financial stability to the best of their ability. And having done that, they have come to a very recent conclusion about which BCIC is proud about. And I would also like to thank Ravi for this opportunity and hand over the proceedings to Ravi. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you, Jairaj. Truly excited and honored. Thank you so much. No words.
Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you continue this in the future, sir.
Definitely, definitely. Looking forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have with us Mr. K. Ravi, Chartered Accountant. Slide, please. Yeah. Mr. Ravi was the past president of the Federation of Karnataka Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Prior to being part of our committee last year and the year before. A person with a rich domain knowledge in various parts of audit, taxation, and he's also the past president of the Rotary Bangalore Orchards and a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He stood by me and ensured that BCIC forays success through the BCIC Emerging Stars Award. Thank you, Ravi, for everything. You have 3 minutes to give an overview of what this award is all about. Please do not mind. Today, we would like to close the ceremony by at least 6:50 p.m. And that's why it's running through. I'm sure you'll do honors to all the award winners later on. Please take it over.
Thank you, Mr. Ravindran, for your nice words. Can you hear me? Good evening to all of you. I have been assigned the present task of giving an overview of the awards. The inaugural BCIC Startup Awards have been instituted to celebrate the aspiring mindset of entrepreneurs who have donned a new role in forming an enterprise. The committee was constituted in 2019 under the leadership of immediate past President Devesh Agarwal. Mr. Ravindran and Mr. K. Ravi were appointed as the chairman and co-chairman respectively. Though the awards should have been held in June 20, thanks to the pandemic, we had to postpone the same to January 2021. Thanks to our President P.R. Parshuraman and Senior Vice President K.R. Shekhar and Vice President Ravindran for their support in making this program a grand success. The applications for the maiden BCIC Emerging Star Awards across diverse categories opened last January and closed around July. BCIC worked with knowledge partner Deloitte to set up a comprehensive selection and evaluation process that will identify the winners. We constituted a panel of eminent people to assess the shortlisted entries and then identify the award winners after following a two-stage elimination process. The jury panel for the awards was headed by Mr. K. Jairaj, who addressed just now, the former Additional Chief Secretary for the Government of Karnataka. There were 6 criteria at the nomination stage. The first criteria was the mission, vision, objectives, and plan of the startup. The second criteria was the standing from excellence in product or service. Then the third one was the promoter background, the experience, the education, the family support. The market standing and overall total market size and market share was the fourth criteria. Then the business standing, the uniqueness of the company, its promoters and other accolades, including testimonials, if any. And the last parameter was work ethics, complying to laws and regulations. In fact, the different sectors for these awards were manufacturing and engineering, agriculture, farming and food, aerospace and space tech, consumer products, e-commerce and retail, auto and mobility, transportation, logistics and delivery, clean tech and energy, healthcare and pharma, social and public service. The BCIC Awards has generated excitement and enthusiasm among the young entrepreneurs in taking their innovative ideas to the higher level and propel the startups to expand and serve new geographies and large number of people. This will help in generation of employment and achieving the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant India. I take this opportunity to also acknowledge the efforts of our knowledge partner Deloitte, Mr. Rajiv Sundaram, and also the jury members under the leadership of Mr. K. Jairaj for helping us in selecting the awardees. I also would like to acknowledge the support of the advertisers, the sponsors, and the supporting partners. I also would like to appreciate the work of the Secretariat for putting a lot of hard work and making this event a successful one. I would also like to congratulate all the award winners who would be receiving this prestigious BCIC Startup Award and wish them all the best in their future endeavors. I would like to tell all the awardees that your relationship with BCIC will not end here. In fact, it will start from now on because you will be entitled to BCIC membership with a concession which I think our chairman will mention to you later on. You'll also be mentored by some of our BCIC members who are experts in their fields. Our members would also like to invest in your startup. And lastly, you also have the opportunity to network with our 800-strong BCIC membership. I think I've kept up to your time, Mr. Ravindran. Thank you, one and all.
You have been very, very precise. Thank you very much, Raviji. And without your support, I think we wouldn't have reached here. Thank you very much. Next, I would now request two of the jury panel members who could not take part in a panel discussion yesterday, Mr. Francis Rodrigues from Bombay and Dr. Anand Koppar based in Bangalore, along with Jairaj sir, to kindly give us an overview of the methodology of the jury, methodology followed by the jury panel in finally shaping up the winners. Over to you, Anand Koppar sir and Mr. Rodrigues and Jairaj sir, you could kindly take it over.
Thank you, Ravi. I'll request Anand to please pitch in and followed by Francis. Anand?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. To start with, I think this is a very innovative way of recognizing startups, and there has been a lot of scientific data with which we were able to identify the winners for these awards. When I say scientific in nature, there are parameters with which we can judge a company, but I believe that the companies are not something which are not live. They are live creatures, and they need. There are a lot of things which go into making an enterprise. With all the parameters being right, the company may not do good, but with the team which has and the environment and the climate in the company will make sure that it is a startup which could win an award. Having said that, we went through several criteria, of which we will mention 3 or 4 here. The first criteria was more on the product or service idea. Is a business idea? Is it a good idea? Is it an idea where people will be willing to pay for? Is it? Does it have a utility? Does it have usefulness? Will it solve the problem in a right way, or will it fit the solution? Things like that. Because this is the main criteria for a company to succeed. The other one, which is the environment, whether this is an idea which is current idea or is it for a futuristic idea, and things like that which come as the product and idea for the service. Many of us as entrepreneurs, when we start a company, we think of a problem and the problem is felt by us, but we fail to understand whether it is felt by others as well. And if it is felt by others, are these people willing to pay for it? So as we start with an idea, we need to see what is the market. Is there a market for such a product? Or is it a product where there are alternatives which are cheaper alternatives? Many times when we had ideas in the US which worked well, did not work well in India because there is a huge difference between the population of the US and the population of India. So we could get something which is cheaper by doing manually, while automation is a requirement in the US. So is there a market was the second thing. Will customers be ready to pay? Will customers be happy to use your services in a proper way? Where the other parts, and if it was a product which has a good idea, what is the marketing strategy for marketing that product? There are many ideas, but spending the marketing dollars, do we have the wherewithal to spend those kinds of dollars into marketing strategy? These were the prime factors for selecting startup. I would request now to Francis Rodriguez to dwell on the other three aspects, which is financial stability, people, and the functionality of the solution. Rodriguez?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Kopar sir, for your starting to elucidate those the points. The other three aspects which we looked at, one was around functionality, and functionality in this case goes hand in hand with innovation. The idea was, what is technology being used, how new or how unique is this technology. In the case of an innovation, does it carve out a new area of space? Does it carve out a blue ocean in which the startup is now trying to operate in? The scalability of the same, in terms of how scalable this is, how quickly and rapidly can it be scaled up, or how large can it be expanded to. So those were the set of things that we looked at in functionality and innovation. Another very important aspect we looked at is how much of this is a competitive advantage, in the form of how much of this basically are strongly tied to back-end patents or intellectual property, which can be kind of leveraged by the startup going ahead, and therefore protect itself and create a moat around their offering. So that's basically on the point on functionality and innovation. The next one, I think, needs no introduction. It is basically the financials. Every company needs to make money to survive. So how robust is the financial business model? Can it make money for the startup? How is the cash burn versus the funding? Can it kind of have the staying power, especially in trying times like these, like COVID? Can the company pivot around its offerings in some sense and be able to kind of continue to have either a product line or a service offering which can kind of help them sustain and make money during such times? So these were some of the other elements in the area of financials. And finally, the last but definitely not the least, and perhaps the most important in some respects, is basically the people who make up the startup. The people from the aspect of the team size, the quality of the team, the education background, and the pedigree, to a large extent, the in-house knowledge and skills which the team kind of brings to the table. And broadly, these are the kind of give you the idea of the overall team strength, both from qualitative as well as quantitative perspective, because just a startup is primarily its team to a large extent, especially in the initial phases, and that's basically the other criteria that we looked at. So these were the three criteria in addition to the ones that Kopar mentioned that we kind of focused on.
One of the points which Rodriguez missed or didn't take up was the passion of the team. How passionate is the team in delivering the idea or delivering the product or service? And that plays a very important role. And many of the teams which presented to us, one of the things which we were seeing while presentation was what is their involvement, what is their passion about the product, about the idea, about the company. And I believe that many of the people who are in the final list have exhibited that passion of making a company bigger and be successful. Sir, Jairaj sir?
I'm fine. I agree with the comments made by both of you. And I think, as I mentioned at the beginning to the President and to Justice Sri Krishna, I am very satisfied that our panels have done a 360-degree evaluation and assessed the startups in terms of, as you said, Dr. Koppar, their contribution, their topicality, and as Francis said, their financial viability, their durability, and the kind of people who are driving it. So I think it has been an excellent broad-based effort, and I'd like to endorse what both of you have said.
Thank you, sir. That is all from us.
Ravi, over to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anant Koppar, Mr. Francis Rodriguez, and Jairaj sir. I'm sure the applicants to the award and the finalists are convinced about the methodology and the methodical approach followed by our trusted panel, which together consists of something close to about 290 man-years of experience. We couldn't have picked something bigger, but at the same time, many of them have experiences in understanding the day-to-day technology and the evolution that's happening around us. Thank you very much. You people have done a great job. Your felicitation happens on February 5th, 2021 at our office. Next, I now request our chief guest for the day, Justice B.N. Sri Krishna, to kindly get introduced, and afterwards, sir, we would like you to provide us an overview about the regulatory changes, the kind of business impact it can have, and whatever else you see of the kind of startup ecosystem that is evolving, and how is it that we can strengthen through our chamber. And thanks for providing us the blessings by being present here. I now have the proud privilege and pleasure to introduce Justice Bellur Narayanaswamy Sri Krishna sir. He is a person well versed in 10 languages, including our own native language of Kannada. He headed the Sri Krishna Commission that investigated causes and apportioned blame for the Bombay riots of 1992-93. He has been chairman of the Committee for Separate Telangana. He is now leading the effort to draft new data privacy laws for India that will regulate how tech giants from US and elsewhere operate in the country. He has headed the 10-member committee constituted by the Union Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology (METI) to study and identify key data protection issues and recommend methods to address them. And he's also currently the chairman of the Financial Sector Legislative Reforms Commission (FSLRC) and also works as an independent arbitrator. He headed the 6th Central Pay Commission set up by the central government, and more importantly, if you do a Google search, you will find that every government that has been formed in India is virtually has him to guide them in various matters on legislation and otherwise. We are so proud to have you with us, sir. Please take it over, sir. Justice, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Ravindran, Mr. Parshuram, Mr. Jairaj, all other co-panelists, and all persons who are logged in to this pleasant function. Now, I'm thankful to Mr. Ravindran for recounting some of my misdeeds, if I may say so. Now, I'm very happy to be associated with this function because I headed the juries for selecting excellency in journalism, excellency in the Council for Business or Parent Trade Practices, and so on. And the methodology that you have adopted is exactly the same, which will take it absolutely beyond Kevin. I'm very happy that you are by your awards encouraging youngsters to come up with ideas and see how those ideas can be transformed into marketable ideas for the benefit of the country. Now to talk about the regulatory impact on startups, because I was impressed that this is a startup function. Therefore, let me talk about the regulatory impact on startups. That is more important from your point of view, from the point of view of your awardees who are present today. In order to have a significant growth in the economy must have a healthy business environment, which must stimulate the entrepreneurial capacity of the people and the financial investors to develop new business. The performance of the business environment is influenced by multiple factors. One of them is represented by the public institutions who can regulate entrepreneurial activities through the implementation of regulation. Legislative actions have direct impact on the economic growth. Regulation of business involves a fine balancing between regulation and development. Too much of regulation creates bottlenecks in the growth of businesses and adversely affects the economy. On the other hand, too much of laxity leads to profiteering and exploitation, which is disruptive of the social equilibrium. Every economy has barriers which can discourage entrepreneurs to start up a business or to enter a new market. The legal system of every country has barriers like regulations, taxes, norms, and so on. But regulations can also be effectively used to improve performance of businesses. Efficacy of the regulations can be evaluated by the efficiency they inject, the number of procedures, the time and the cost required to obtain permissions to conduct economic activities, protection against illegal business activity, or the level of corruption, and so on. The World Bank has developed a country-ranking business index systems using the methodology of ease of doing business index, factoring in several such reasons in which the regulatory impact had a prime position. Several studies have shown that regulatory factors have a strong influence on the stimulation of entrepreneurs to develop new businesses. The relation between the creation of a new business and factors like the cost of startup of new business, the procedures to enforce a contract, time to export, time to prepare and pay taxes, paid in minimum capital, procedure to register a business, procedure to register property, total tax rate, and commercial profits have a very close relation with the ease to do business. These variables affect the capital that the entrepreneur must have in order to start and develop a business, as well as the time consumed by the public institution procedures required to create a business, which will in turn affect the entrepreneur by affecting his borrowing power and ability to efficiently do debt servicing. The limits of the study are represented by the use of a limited number of variables which were included in the World Bank Index or other institutions. This small number of data, roughly about 28 countries over 8 years. These selected countries are far from the same economic union, meaning that the model is not really representative of the entire globe. In January 2016, the Government of India launched the Startup India initiative, on which I am going to focus for a few minutes. This has transformed the way in which the markets and potential entrepreneurs and investors view startups. This transformation included a slew of policy measures intended to promote a startup culture and allow younger population members to take risk with their ideas and become job creators rather than job seekers, which is crucial to the concept of Atmanirbharata, which is the buzzword today. The Startup Action Plan of 2016 proposed to address 3 key areas for empowering potential startups. 1, hand-holding and simplification. 2, funding, support and incentives. And 3, incubation and industry academia partnership. Emerging as the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world, India has the potential for enormous growth. There have been several policies at all levels of government, industry and academia to promote a startup culture. However, it is important to examine these initiatives and determine whether they move beyond the subsidy stroke tax holiday mindset and work on the root corrections necessary for a robust startup ecosystem. There are several issues that require consideration from the policy and regulatory perspective for a successful startup revolution. We need to introspect and see what are the major challenges and potential solutions to the stumbling blocks on the path of the startup revolution. An impartial assessment of the Startup Action Plan of the Government of India shows a positive impact on the number of startups, suggesting that a startup ecosystem has reached an early traction stage. One of the major requirements for the initiative to sustain momentum is the availability of funds so that the startup program is able to emerge from the black hole of lack of finance. As a renowned scholar, Broughton said, "What entrepreneurs need far more than the fine words or advice from politicians or academics is the support, solace, and help of other entrepreneurs." The regulatory impact on startups can best be seen from the report of the RBI Committee on MSMEs, which deliberated on all aspects, including startups in India, and found, I'm quoting from the report, the major reason for migration of startups to other countries is because of better enabling environments such as tax concessions, well-developed infrastructure, ease of doing business, exit policy, and so on. Hence, the committee was of the view that financial incentives and excellent infrastructure facilities must be deployed to retain successful Indian startups and to lure the best talent from across the world to start businesses in India. It is imperative to wean away today's youth from the culture of job seekers to focus on developing a culture of entrepreneurship. The mindset of youth is still towards security of employment, and one of the major inhibiting factors is the apprehension of inability to meet tight regulatory compliances. Even for a well-established large-scale business entity, majority of the deliberations in a board meeting of directors turns around regulatory compliances. Having been on the board of several companies, I can vouch for you that 75% of the time is spent on compliances. One can imagine how that can inhibit the spirit of business instincts and of an entrepreneur at the startup stage. It is good news that the startup ecosystem has so far performed well in accordance with the SAP. Rising numbers of unicorns, those are the startups that have the potential to become unicorns soon. And unicorns, those are the startups with a value of over $1 billion in India, are witnesses to the slow but steady transformation in this regard. A robust startup ecosystem with light touch regulations, sandboxing, and handholding will not only boost the economy but also contribute to the sustainable development goals. There is ground for sanguinity that India's efforts in creating a startup ecosystem with the government's regular active interventions with the required policy and the regulatory changes is yielding results, and its future trajectory appears to be upwards. Thank you very much, and I congratulate in advance the efforts of the BCCI. I'm sorry, BCCI, no?
BCIC.
BCCI is the other one. Okay. BCIC in organizing this competition for incentivizing young entrepreneurs, judging them on the several factors to make them good businesses in future, to start with, and then become better businesses in future. This gives them a spirit of competition. This gives them a challenge to be overcome. And I would say to be recognized by the BCIC would be a hallmark badge of respectability and honor which the young entrepreneurs would like to carry forward. Thank you for giving me this opportunity of participating in this function, which has been almost delayed by a year thanks to several factors, including the pandemic, which is bothering all of us for the last 10.5 months. Thanks again. My congratulations in advance to all the winners, and my consolations to those who did not win, because that will make them hope that they can redouble their efforts and get these awards in the next years that are yet to come. Thank you very much. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, Justice has always been a pillar of strength. He's a very busy person, and as I said earlier, every government and voter to power always looks up to him. Despite all of this, we share a very warm relationship with him. And when I requested him, he said, "My calendar is open for you any day." And I'm thankful to you for that, sir. Your blessings has really helped. If you are by chance in Bangalore on February 5th, 2021, that's a Friday evening, please do drop by at our office to physically hand over the awards to all the finalists, including the winners and the runners-up. Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Ravindran, that would depend on whether I can get 2 doses of vaccine before that.
Yes, we'll try. I'm sure you, government will look up to
that
you stay protected.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jara, sir, you have anything to add? Jara, sir?
Say, sir, that Justice Sri Krishna's address was completely in keeping with his person. It was absolutely bang on. It reflected on the present circumstances, and it offered such a terrific word of encouragement to the young startups and to BCIC. I think, sir, we are extremely grateful to you, sir, for your comment, and we would like you to keep your association with BCIC and with all of us current.
Thank you. I shall be happy to do it.
Namaskaram.
We now play the virtual memento to be received by Justice B.N. Sri Krishna. Yes. Now, there is a brief poll that came up. Just one question, whether the program that you found for the last 2 days plus now, whatever has happened, is useful or not. Do complete the poll if you can. It is for a confidential information to help us get a feedback from each one of you. We now have a brief overview in the form of a video that has been developed by a very young gentleman, and we thought we should enthuse him by creating whatever we could during the pandemic, and that will be played for a few minutes, and it will give you an overview of this award right from the day we began to where we are closing today. Rupa, please play it.
The Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce is a 43-year-old organization and represents over 750 members from industry and commerce across the state of Karnataka. We cater to the diverse needs of our members, interface on issues of importance with the government and the bureaucracy, and try to uplift the general welfare of citizens.
Karnataka has one of the most mature startup ecosystems in the country, and that's the reason why Bengaluru is known as the startup capital of India. The state of Karnataka is the nation's leading startup hub and the world's second fastest growing startup ecosystem. It ranks among the best 21st century startup ecosystems across the globe. The state was the first to come up with a dedicated startup cell.
A reputed body like BCIC is making awards for startups for the first time. What it will do to an awardee is to raise their profile substantially in the startup world, enhance their standing and reputation, and also enable them to gain mileage in raising funds, getting industrial connect, and provide a firm footing for the future. Because in a way, it is a certification, entrepreneurship, and the various practices in the startup which enable it to be successful. So that is really the value of these awards.
This is a unique initiative of the chambers to give a booster to the startup companies in terms of mentoring, acceleration, sharing of best practices within BCIC, and also to encourage and bring about the hidden talents. In this perspective, the startups can leverage the domain functional expertise of the chambers in various sectors. Also, BCIC can connect the startups between the supplier and the end customer to bring about a value-added, meaningful, and mutually beneficial relationship based on a win-win. And I'm sure this is going to be a great start.
Our chamber, BCIC, has initiated its maiden Startup Awards titled BCIC Emerging Stars Award 2020. The features of our Startup Awards is simple to suit the startups in Bengaluru and Karnataka with modest beginning plus benefiting with lower capital of Rs 25 crores or less, plus an existential criteria of between 3 to 7 years. If I were to be a startup in our state, I would apply for this award so as to get ahead to receive recognition, come validation from industry leaders, and gain business opportunities through networking and interaction, and pitch myself to potential investors and financial backers, and receive feedback, mentorship, and gain acceleration from leading experts besides winning prizes at the Gala Awards ceremony.
I'm sure you liked it, and that would have given you an entire overview of how this award got created and how we have run the course and where we are today. Thank you very much for watching it. I now move to the next section, and we are running on time, and we should be able to get it moving in the next 15 minutes much faster. I would now like to felicitate the speakers and sponsors of this award. Rupa? Yeah, let me begin by thanking all the nominees and applicants. Over 200 applied for this prestigious award. The Government of Karnataka, the Principal Commissioner, and also the Principal Secretary, Additional Chief Secretary and Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka, did help us in a significant manner. The speakers on all the 3 days of our awards program, the chief guests for the day, and guests of honor on the other days. We are indeed thankful to you. The supporting partners have been IIM Ahmedabad Alumni Association, IIM Bangalore Alumni Association, IIIT Bangalore, Dayananda Derby Foundation, Amrita, the Business Incubator, Agni, Invest India Startups, 10,000 Startups NASCOM, TAI Bangalore, various industrial associations from all parts of Karnataka and India, Indian Angel Network Delhi, CoWorks, Your Story, and Deccan Herald as a media partner too. The sponsors have been Nippon, India Asset Management Company, HDFC Life, Bombay, TVS, led by Dr. Devarajan, TCS, Relicare, Mr. Praveen Iyer, Fundamax, Dr. Prashant Reddy, Toyota from our very own bosses present here, IDFC Mutual Fund, Kotak Bank, and Sona Group, and press and media. On the other side, I would sincerely thank RV College of Engineering, led by Dr. Subramania and Mr. Somesh, the entire BCIC secretariat, the committee members. To name them is a long list, but then I still have got to make the necessary names spelled here. Shri K. Jairaj IAS retired, Shri Gopal Hosur IPS retired, Mr. Raju Bhatnagar, Mr. Jaideep Nag, Dr. Prashant Reddy, Mr. S. Vishwanathan, Ms. Fatima Hunaid, Mr. Sudeep Bhattacharya, Ms. Nivedita Nivargi, Mr. Sudeep Srikanta Swami, Mr. Venkata Krishnan, Mr. Amit Kumar, Mr. Praveen Iyer, C.A. Vishwanath, Mr. Sham Prasad, Mr. Prithvi, C.A.K. Ravi, Ms. Suruta Kulkarni, Mr. Giridhar R, Dr. K.V. Om Prakash, Mr. Ravi Challu, Ms. Nandita, Ms. Rupa, Mr. Manas, Ms. Richa, Mr. K.R. Shekhar, Senior Vice President, Mr. T.R. Parshuraman, President, Mr. Devesh Agarwal, Immediate Past President, Team Deloitte led by Mr. Rajiv Sundar, and the jury panel of Messrs. Chandu Nair, Ravi Challu, Dr. Anant Kopar, Mr. Francis Rodrigues, Dr. Lakshmi Jagannathan, and my own office team, my family, for having endured this journey. Then, Advisor Coach was a website which ensured that the nomination process was seamless. I am also thankful to the jury panel chairman, Shri K. Jairaj sir, office bearers, past presidents, management committee members of BCIC. Thank you very much. Kindly be present on February 5th, 2021 at our office at 3:30 p.m. for high tea. Thank you. Next. I would now request our President, Mr. T.R. Parshuraman, to kindly give an overview of this award and also declare open the next version of the award soon. Take it over, sir. Parshuraman, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ravindran. I've been really enjoying the evening. I think this is the third day. It's been a feast of events happening, and it's a perfect setting with stalwarts every day coming. And today we are very, very honored to have the august presence of Justice Shri B.N. Krishna. I think this is something fantastic. I think the whole idea behind this 3-day event, what we thought is a kind of a human development activity. In fact, we have been able to hear to several speakers on issues of varied interests. And I think hearing to this kind of people and their own personal experiences is one of the greatest takeaway in the startup program. And I congratulate Dr. Ravindran team. In fact, Mr. Jairaj, I have no words to thank Mr. Jairaj because his kind of commitment, dedication, and his focus on the subject. Sir, hats off to you. You have been a role model to all of us because at his level and his stature, I think the kind of support that Mr. Jairaj has given to this is something outstanding. And definitely Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce will remember this for a long time to come, sir.
Thank you, but it is owing to your leadership that I have done it, and to Ravindran.
Sir, it is not an ordinary thing because this event has been going on for 1 year. In fact, I thought the longest program was my leadership development program in Toyota. That was for 1 year. I think you have exceeded that, Mr. Ravindran. Because I still remember I had 5 meetings at Bangkok office and 3 presentations in Toyota Motor Japan. Yeah. But I think you superseded that. But I think the kind of process itself is something fantastic. In fact, the biggest milestone, of course, is Emerging Startup Award. But the process that has gone through this, through various speakers sharing their experiences and some of the startup companies sharing their experiences. In fact, yesterday I was telling Dr. Ravindran, all these 200 plus presentations, it should be put up in our website so that all the 800 members can have an access to this and they can get connected to all these startup companies. So this is one of the greatest takeaways. And also all the members of Bangalore Chambers will come to know about these kind of activities. And this is going to connect them in all possible ways. And I have to thank Deloitte for being a knowledge partner. In fact, a lot of discussions happened with the team Deloitte. And I appreciate the kind of mutual communication between BCIC and Deloitte. And we got a lot of support and a lot of inputs from Team Deloitte. Thank you, Deloitte, for the wonderful support. And of course, the jury panel has been something fantastic, as mentioned by our chairman, Sri Jairaj, because this would not have been successful without the active participation and the value creation by the jury panel. And I was just wondering, the process has been meticulous. In fact, it is a two-way filtration process. And filtering down to 21 to 19 from 200 is not an ordinary joke. And this process has involved, as rightly said by Mr. Jairaj, 90 hours of evaluation process is something amazing, sir. And I can multiply 90 hours multiplied by so many people. It runs to probably thousands of man-hours has been put in. But I think the greatest takeaway of all this is the kind of value creation. As a sigma value creation created through this process is something phenomenal. Therefore, I requested Dr. Ravindran to create a kind of a directory so that it goes as a forthcoming reference for all the leaders across Bangalore Chambers and also the member companies. And I also would like to thank all the sponsors. Without your support, definitely this would not have been possible. And because of your active support, in spite of challenging times, this has really motivated us. And also the print and media, I have to thank them for your valuable support, because ultimately it should reach to the masses. And a lot of social media and a lot of print and media have been involved, and we are going to take it up in a big way. And our media team is also working very hard on that. And after this event also, we would like to bring about a brief detailed report of the entire process. I've already requested our team to work on that. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to our new office. I invite the finalists, the jury panel, the sponsors, the supporting partners to join our office at MG Road, which is a new office. Also, it's an opportunity for you to look at our new office. It's a beautiful place. 4,500 square feet corporate area, very close to the big kids camp on the MG Road. And I invite you on February 5th at 3:30 to receive your awards and mementos and also join us for a high tea. And I'm also very happy to announce the next edition of the BCIC Emerging Star Award 2021, which is to begin with the nomination starting on 18th of April 2021. Without wasting much of your time, because based on the great success that we could see in this activity, it is a powerful human development tool, I would say, because this is how we develop people and percolate knowledge and wisdom across the board. Therefore, based on this success, I would like to spread it and make it as a kind of ongoing event of BCIC. I am also proposing this to my future presidents, Shekhar and Ravindran, to take it forward, and it should become like Bangalore Chambers golf tournament year on year. And in fact, I was talking to the industry minister and the chief secretary last week, and I think the startup is going to be a very, very important innovative activity in the state of Karnataka. And the new manufacturing policy launched by the Honorable Chief Minister and the Industry Minister, I was there in the function. I think there is a lot of impetus on the startups, because it is going to be the creation of knowledge base, and innovation and creativity will go in a long way to propel manufacturing across this nation, which will support the Atmanirbhar and Make in India process. So without taking much of your time, once again, I am excited with this entire process. And I've been enjoying this program as a kind of attendee yesterday. And I am truly overwhelmed by the kind of passion, support, and the enthusiasm shown by the team, startup. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravindran, Dr. Ravi, and Dr. Jairaj, and the entire team BCIC startup team. Thank you very much. And no words to thank all of you, and also special mention to Manas and Richa. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, President. You have an infectious smile and great words of enthusiasm. We'll certainly keep it up and then ensure that this Emerging Stars Award emerges stronger and stronger in years to come. I now would request Mr. Manas to take over the next 5 minutes before we unveil the much-awaited awards. Mr. Manas, please take it over.
Thank you, sir. I'm unable to switch on my video because of some intermittent issues with my bandwidth, so I'll go with audio only. So apologies for that. So first of all, greeting to all the eminent panelists in the session, respected jury members, Honorable former Justice Sri Krishna, and most importantly, all the startup representatives present here who have participated and have been finalists in this intense contest. Now, before I move on to the startup membership benefits, if you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so before I move on to the startup membership benefits, a little rewind on what BCIC stands for. So BCIC essentially offers a platform for businesses to come together and discuss about their challenges and opportunities and form approaches to solve them together. In conjunction with bureaucracy, the ministries sometimes engaging with foreign consulates to exploit international opportunities, etc. And startups are an integral and it's an extremely critical part of our ecosystem because you are helping to solve very complex contemporary problems in our society, in our economy, exploiting in many cases cutting-edge technologies, and in a lot of cases you are developing newer technologies for us, for our societies. And we intend, from BCIC, we intend to embrace you with open hands and extend all the strengths that BCIC has through its membership of so many industry captains within our folds. So hence, BCIC has recently created a new membership category for startups through a special general meeting a couple of months back, and after a long deliberation, and amended its bylaws to incorporate that, which is what you see as the last item in the types of membership that we have. Now, if you can go on to the next slide, please. Some pointers, yeah, thank you. Some pointers on the membership benefits, the new membership benefits is the bylaws are amended, so that's done. The period of startup membership is going to be for any member, any startup member, going to be 3 years. Partnership firms, LLPs, duly incorporated in Karnataka, they are going to be eligible for that with annual criteria of annual turnover of less than 1 crore. And the incorporation has to be less than within the last 2 years. Okay. They will be able to become part of any of our 18 subcommittees, which are expert committees. However, may not have voting rights. After 3 years as a startup member, or whenever turnover exceeds 1 crore, the membership has to be converted into a regular membership, which you have seen in the previous slide, one of the types of regular memberships. The subscription fee is 3,000 as opposed to higher fees for other categories of regular memberships. There are the strength of BCIC. One of the strengths of BCIC is that we conduct a huge number of free programs, including paid programs, and all these programs are intended to help businesses understand the contemporary challenges, opportunities, contemporary knowledge, the various regulation policies, anything that are affecting the businesses in general. And I'm sure on behalf of BCIC that a lot of these programs are going to be very, very beneficial to you as well, as they are extended as you become the BCIC members. Okay. Going on to the next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, some of the other strengths of BCIC is that one thing I already mentioned, that BCIC has a huge number of corporate members, and its membership spans a huge number of corporate members in our folds. As you can easily realize through the attendance, the panelists, looking at the panelists, their experiences and their depth of knowledge within the industry, within various areas, that this rich experience can be extremely helpful for all the budding businesses. So that is one thing of one advantage of networking that you can reap from being a member of BCIC. At the same time, you can also enhance your market reach, supply reach, because you get in connect with a lot of different businesses. Being a member of BCIC, being part of our huge membership base. At the same time, improve your technology processes, getting mentorship for startups. Especially, we have because we have lots of members who are actively investors or into incubation and related support services for startups. You can get all those benefits from BCIC. Knowledge forum, as I have mentioned, there are lots of knowledge forums that are constituted and conducted by BCIC. And the very important advantage is that as we work with the industry, the academia, the bureaucracy, the policymakers, the ministries, etc., any challenges or opportunities, your voice is going to be heard through BCIC, because it becomes a forum, and taking these voices, their opinions to the right groups, to the ministries or policy, to the policymakers, etc. So this becoming the advantages of becoming members of BCIC. I would now with this we come to the most awaited moment of the 3-day event, culminating into the awards announcement. Dr. Ravindran.
Yeah, you have to read out the benefits for the finalists. And after you read that out and before you play the video, I have now requested our technical team to unmute everybody. Manas, now you have to talk about the benefits.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So for the finalists, to all the 19 finalists, as mentioned before also, that we are organizing for a high tea on the 5th of February at 15:30 hours at the new office of BCIC. So you are all kindly invited to receive the winners to receive your awards, and also for the finalists to kind of be more closer to BCIC and kind of get the benefit of networking with all the stakeholders present there. For the winners, some of the benefits are cash awards, which are going to be announced, memento and commendation certificate, membership eligible to BCIC, getting connected, as we mentioned before, to 900 plus industry members, as BCIC comprises of corporate members, members of repute to further your business progress. And for aspiring entrepreneurs, there is going to be a lot of opportunity for pitch for capital acceleration, because we have a lot of members and stakeholders connected to BCIC who are into the services of incubation, active investors and investment companies, etc.
Are you done, sir?
Yes, of course. Hand it over to you.
You take it on, and then now is the time to
right.
Now is the time to play the 7 winner videos. And Mr. Somesh, you can unmute all of them.
that completes the announcement of the 7 winners of our Emerging Stars Award. And on behalf of BCIC and all the jury members, we congratulate all the winners. We also congratulate all the participants to take the effort and initiative to compete and come this far. So we wish you all the best. Thank you. And with this, we now move over to the vote of thanks, and we move over to Richa. Over to you, Richa.
Thanks, Manas. Congratulations to all the winners, and I went through all the presentations day before yesterday. Everybody, all the 90 panelists did a fabulous job. Thanks to everybody for participating in the BCIC Emerging Star Awards 2020-2021. Looking forward for you people to promote the upcoming BCIC Star Awards for 2021 this year. Thanks to the president of BCIC. Your support always inspires us. Thanks to Mr. K.R. Shekhar, the Senior Vice President. A special thanks to the man behind the Emerging Stars Award and now the Vice President of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Dr. Ravindran. Without you, I think this award would not have come this far, and today being the finale for the same. Thanks to, of course, Manas being there all the while, and even more for us to take it forward for the next one. Special thanks to the BCIC Secretariat, Prithvi, Rupa, Nandita, Murli, everybody in the chamber who worked relentlessly, not just for this event, but for all the events that every expert committee takes up. Special thanks to the sponsors and the partners without whose support we could not have done this Emerging Star Awards, and we wish to have your continued support. Thanks to the jury panels led by Mr. Jairaj for all their time and the support and the guidance and coming to the conclusion of these 7 awardees. Thank you to the participants. Thank you to RV College of Engineering for all the technical support. Thank you to all our producers of the videos being presented for all the 3 days. And I hope I have not missed anybody, and if I do, sincere apologies. With this, we come to the end of this program. Dr. Ravindran, with your permission, we can close with the...
Every investor's portfolio should have 2 components. One that contributes to the growth of the portfolio, while the second that provides its stability. While growth of the portfolio is contributed by investing in equity funds, stability is traditionally provided by investing in fixed income instruments like fixed deposits. Debt mutual funds can be an alternative to the fixed deposit needs of investors. Debt mutual funds can provide liquidity and stability to your portfolio. A financial advisor can help you invest in debt mutual funds and bring relative stability to your portfolio. Visit idfcmf.com to know more about debt funds. Happy investing. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Are you confused about how to invest in debt mutual funds? Wondering how to make sense of all the debt funds available in the market? With so many categories and funds to choose from, it can be difficult to identify the right debt mutual fund for you. To make things clearer, we have developed the Debt Framework, an easy and intuitive way to classify debt products into 3 categories based on an investor's need and risk appetite. The first category is liquidity. These funds are ideal for investors who need money for any emergency or want to park their savings for a temporary period. This should form a small part of your debt portfolio. The second category is core. These funds limit the duration risk, that is, they maintain a short to moderate maturity profile. They also limit the credit risk. They are ideal for investors looking for a suitable substitute for fixed deposits. Core is the most important component of your portfolio and should have a large allocation. Lastly, we have the satellite category of debt funds. Ideal for investors who have a high risk appetite and are looking for high returns. The funds typically take higher interest rate risk and/or credit risk. So how should one allocate between these three buckets? As a first step, investors are advised to keep aside money for their emergency needs in the liquidity category funds. They may then look to build their core category portion with the highest allocation. Investors with higher risk appetite may allocate some portion to the satellite bucket. But remember, treat core and satellite funds separately, as interchanging them can be detrimental to your portfolio. The debt framework can act as a useful way to allocate savings and achieve your financial milestones. As they always say, a goal without a plan is a wish. Happy investing!
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
कौन से लोग के प्राणी हो भाई?
पानी।
इन पैसे का क्या करेगा? इन्हें किसी अच्छी जगह डिपॉजिट कर दे।
ये भी 30 साल जंगल में खो गए थे क्या?
क्या आपका पैसा अभी भी पुराने इन्वेस्टमेंट में भटका हुआ है? उसे छोड़िए और म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
गोपाल, मुझे मालूम था एक दिन आप लौटकर जरूर आओगे। और ये रही आपकी 30 साल की सैलरी। इसे किसी अच्छी जगह डिपॉजिट कर दीजिएगा। हाँ?
ये भी 30 साल अंतरिक्ष में खो गए थे क्या? क्या आपका पैसा अभी भी पुराने इन्वेस्टमेंट में लटका हुआ है? उसे छोड़िए और म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Forever and ever.
Now that was a powerful drive.
Yeah, a bit different than yours.
Power to dominate, the new Fortuner. Style to lead, the new Legender.
Winning is more than a mindset. It's about finding the perfect racing line with your eyes closed. It's about feeling the apex before you clip it. Making split-second decisions based on instinct. It's about knowing you've beaten the lap record before you even cross the line. Winning is to overcome. Winning is second nature. The 2020 TVS Apache RR310 with ride modes and Smart Connect. Crafted to overcome, crafted to outperform.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे